my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. So today we're going to start with The Mandalorian Season 4. Now a week ago, Deadline did post that The Mandalorian Season 4 might be delayed, but there's an update. A big question amidst the writer's strike is when is this going to release, because filming is set to begin in September or October, but the WGA strike looks like it's going to go on for a long time. So let's dive into it. Even though a release window for The Mandalorian Season 4 was never provided by Lucasfilm or Disney, we did have reports from Bespin Bulletin that production is set to begin later this year, but those dates could be pushed back. According to a new report, despite Lucasfilm preparing ahead of time and Jon Favreau having finished writing on Season 4, it could still be pushed back. According to Deadline, the WGA strike might affect The Mandalorian's production. They say it's hard to know at this time when an agreement's going to be made and a new deal signed between the Writers Guild and the studios. Now evidently they should be paid fairly, and it's awesome to see that Tony Gilroy, the showrunner of the Andor show, is standing with them. Same with various creatives, and reaching some kind of deal and getting the terms they want, the compensation they deserve, is the priority. But what does this mean for The Mandalorian? That's the question we're looking at today. Well, the current trajectory seems to indicate there's going to be some kind of deal between Labor Day and Christmas. That's what some industry insiders believe, the ones Deadline spoke with, which is sometime between September 4th and Christmas Day, December 25th. Assuming the two parties come to an agreement during this time, Season 4 of The Mandalorian is not going to experience too much of a delay, only being pushed back a couple of months, with production estimated to start sometime in early 2024, maybe even January. They say if that is the case, production's going to last till the summer of 2024. And this is going to line up similarly with previous installments of the show. Season 2 began production in October of 2019 and wrapped in March of 2020, and Season 3 began in October of 2021 and wrapped in March of 2022. It's impossible to make an exact prediction because we just don't know how things are going to play out, how prepared Lucasfilm are. But going off these examples, we should expect Season 4 8 to 12 months after it's finished filming. That means an estimated release date of sometime in the summer or the winter of next year. That's being optimistic. And another big question this brings up is how is it going to affect Dave Filoni's Mandoverse film? We know from interviews and things they've said over and over again, not just at Star Wars Celebration, but with Empire Magazine, Entertainment Weekly and Deadline, The Mandalorian Season 4 is part of the next phase of the Mandoverse that's going to connect to Star Wars Ahsoka with Rosario Dawson, Skeleton Crew, which also releases this year, and the Mandoverse film in 2026. So inevitably, all of these projects are connected, and the Mandoverse film is going to round off this phase. Dave Filoni did not want to confirm if this is the last Mando project, if the movie's going to round off the shows, but he did say it's going to be a satisfying culmination, so as I say, seeing it as the end of the first phase. Tying in the Book of Boba Fett and previous seasons of Mando as well, we want to see all of our heroes, Boba Fett, Din Djarin, maybe Luke, definitely Ahsoka, as they face off against Grand Admiral Thrawn, who along with Morgan Elsbeth, Baylan and Shin, is threatening not just the New Republic, but the galaxy at large. And they do say that previous reports about Dave Filoni's film coming in 2026 did not take into account how the strike is going to affect that, if it drags out. Now that Season 4 of The Mandalorian is going to be pushed back, or at least that's the theory, some other projects might be delayed too. Dave Filoni's film probably won't suffer. The one before it in 2025 might though. The one by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy about Rey. I guess we just don't know at this stage. There is a lot of stuff with this strike that is up in the air, so time will tell. And just based on what we know about The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka show coming up and Skeleton Crew, they're building up Thrawn, they're ramping up this new threat. Din Djarin and Din Grogu, Grogu's new name, are probably going to be investigating the seedy dark underworld of the Imperial Remnant on behalf of the New Republic. That was one of the things he spoke to Carson Tevra about, wanting work for the New Republic, having been a bounty hunter and knowing the galaxy well, knowing how to navigate where you need to, and having immense bravery, a kind of reset for The Mandalorian, because Season 3 was about the restoration of the planet of Mandalore. That was fantastic and necessary, as well as the new ally planets they made in Episode 6, Plaisir 15, and how that plays into how Mandalore's going to deal with threats once Grand Admiral Thrawn makes himself known. I think, my dear Mandalorians, that's going to be more important than you realise. And for those who did enjoy Season 3, I really do think they're going to tie things together. Episodes and tropes that don't seem important now might come into play in the Ahsoka show and Mando Season 4. And then inevitably the Mandalorian movie in 2026, although as I say, this might be pushed back to 2027. We don't have official word from Lucasfilm or Disney at this stage, but share your thoughts on this in the comments down below. And so now, my dear friends, the Acolyte star Lee Jung-Jae, who was the star of Squid Game, has spoken about his love for the Star Wars franchise, revealing he was very young the first time he saw A New Hope, and how he was blown away. He uses the words absolute shock. He says he remembers wondering if what he saw was just a movie. It was so vivid, he was in absolute awe, and that is the magic and beauty of George Lucas's creation. Such a creative visionary, revolutionizing the industry. And Lee Jung-Jae is bringing his passion for Star Wars into his role as a Jedi in the upcoming series in 2024. He said the idea of being in Star Wars was always a pipe dream, and now it's a reality. I wish him luck, same with Amanda Stenberg, and I can't wait to see what it brings. Hopefully it's very good. And so now, my dear friends, here's a fun fact. Did you know Anakin Skywalker once fought Darth Maul? Well, not exactly. He designed a training droid to be like Darth Maul. In 2016 Star Wars Obi-Wan and Anakin comic series, Anakin was fighting a training droid with his lightsaber, while a group of Padawans, members of the Jedi Council, and Chancellor Palpatine watched. And that's when Anakin did something unexpected. He toggled a switch, and the training droid took on the form and the fighting style of Darth Maul. Anakin showed off his impressive skills, and Palpatine was delighted. But what happened afterwards was very troubling. Anakin was bullied by the other Padawans. Despite his skill and sheer power, they made fun of the fact he was a slave to his emotions. He took the droid out with anger. Anakin, enraged, used the Force to ignite their lightsabers and threatened them. That's when Obi-Wan intervened and put a stop to things, but it does show you Anakin had a lot of emotional troubles early on. Just a fun tidbit. And so now, my dear friends, as promised, let's talk about Star Wars Ahsoka. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, Lars Mikkelsen, the voice of Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, and the one who's going to play him in live action in Ahsoka, has spoken about his character's return. Thrawn has different iterations on screen compared to Timothy Zahn's body of work, although some fans say the two are consistent. In either case, Lars Mikkelsen said the following: "In many ways, it's the same character. He's based on the same material, heir to the Empire, but also the newer Zahn stuff. But we needed to think. We wanted to create something new, while also doing it right." He goes on to comment, "He's a top strategist, and ruthless of course, but only when needed. I think he thrives also with the creativity of the surroundings. I mean, he's not using people in a bad way, he's using their creativity to reach his goals." In the same interview, Mikkelsen reacted to how it felt being announced as Thrawn, and the fan reception of the crowds here in London at Celebration. He said it was a hard time, he was holding back his tears. And just as many of the actors do, he thanks Dave Filoni. And so now, my dear friends, on June the 1st, a new LEGO set is coming, the first of its kind. This is from Young Jedi Adventures, and while that show is aimed at kids, this set is very colourful and has some very awesome minifigures. This comes from Brick Fanatics. They say the following: "The month of May was a pretty big one for LEGO Star Wars, so we just have one set launching on June 1st. On the one hand, it's the first ever LEGO Jedi Temple of its kind, but on the other it's based on a very juvenile series, one which I might add has some great storytelling. But despite this, as I say, the minifigures are really awesome, with a brand new take on Yoda's appearance. 124 pieces. I just thought this looked really awesome, and if you're a patron, link is down below. I'm going to do an unboxing, a build, and review of this, so that is coming. But share your thoughts on this and everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always.